Now, I've taken people back who swear that they've been to past lives, they've had very real experiences. And just a bit of groundwork for anybody that doesn't know, a scientific angle. One of the most foremost people on past lives was a chap called Edgar Cayce. Has anybody heard of him? He was also known as America's sleeping prophet. Now here's a guy who had laryngitis, and he went to a hypnotist. And he said, look, can you hypnotise me? I've got this laryngitis, it's not working, and I need some help. Maybe hypnosis will help me. So he was put in a trance, and in that trance he associated to a past life as a healer, diagnosed himself, prescribed what he needed, and cured himself from laryngitis. And then went on to do that with 2,500 other people. So here's a guy with no experience in this life of healing or anything to do with it, goes under hypnosis once and becomes an authority on healing by going into a trance and accessing this past life. America's sleeping prophet. So this is just one example of where past lives came from. There's another chap called Dr. Brian Weiss. Has anybody heard of him? Just out of interest. He was a medical doctor. And he wrote a book called Many Lives and Many Masters. That was just one of many of the books that he wrote. Now here's a guy who was attracting people into his office. He was regressing them. And what he found after time was that the clients that were attracted to him were intertwined in a whole series of past lives with him. They'd all had previous lives. Now this is a guy, bear in mind, he's a medical doctor. Reputation means a lot when you've spent 7 years plus training to get your credibility. For this guy to come out and write a book on past lives and all the people he's met, I mean, he's got to believe it. And he's got quite a big following as well. There's also a chap called Dr. Ian Stevenson. Now, Dr. Ian Stevenson spent 50 years looking into this phenomenon. And he studied people. His idea was to get scientific proof for people to find out that that past lives did exist. And he went round to a series of people over 50 years. There were 44 case studies where he went to very young kids who were getting memories that their parents couldn't explain. And in one case he found out a little boy, I think it was a little boy, and he went to him and found he had all these details of a lifetime where a 26-year-old was thrown out of a car and killed. He knew the details, he knew the family, he knew the habits, he knew all sorts of information that tied up to his previous life. There was another case of a 3.5-year-old Indian who had complete memories of all sorts of things that happened in a previous life to somebody that they couldn't possibly have known. And most of the facts were identical. 44 cases that were published in an American Journal of Research. So for the scientifically inclined people, there is evidence of past lives. Again, I'm not saying that they exist or not. All I'm saying is that when we do timeline therapy, we get a result. People can release these unwanted emotions, replace them with something far more productive, and they can get on with their life and feel better.